The dusty road to Emmaus stretched before them, mirroring the heaviness in their hearts. Cleopas and his companion walked with heads bowed, their recent experience in Jerusalem casting a long shadow.
Just days ago, we witnessed the unthinkable, the crucifixion of Jesus, the one we believed to be the Messiah.
Each footstep seemed to echo their despair. The joy they had felt witnessing Jesus' miracles, the hope that had blossomed in their hearts now seemed like a distant memory.
How could our teacher, our friend, be gone? How could our hopes be so cruelly dashed?
The weight of their grief was immense, threatening to crush the very spirit within them. The journey to Emmaus seemed endless, each step a painful reminder of their loss and confusion. Their world, once filled with the light of Jesus' presence, had grown dark and cold. Even as sorrow threatened to consume them, whispers of hope lingered in their hearts.
Could the rumors be true? Could Jesus truly have risen from the dead, as some were claiming?
A flicker of hope, fragile yet persistent, refused to be extinguished. Their conversation swirled with a mixture of doubt and longing.
We recounted the events of the past few days, our voices heavy with grief. Could we have been mistaken about Jesus? Had we placed our faith in someone who was not who we thought he was?
Their confusion was palpable, the things they had seen and heard, the miracles they had witnessed. How could these be reconciled with the brutal reality of the cross? They grappled with questions that seemed to have no answers, lost in a maze of grief and uncertainty. As they wrestled with their doubts, a stranger approached and joined them on their journey. Unaware of his true identity, they poured out their hearts to him, sharing their sorrow and confusion.
The stranger listened with quiet compassion, his presence strangely comforting.
When they had finished speaking, he began to speak to them, his words filled with a gentle authority.
How foolish you are, and how slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken.
His words, though gentle, pierced their hearts. He spoke of the scriptures, of the prophecies that foretold the suffering and resurrection of the Messiah. As the stranger spoke, their hearts began to stir within them.
He opened up the scriptures in a way we had never experienced before, connecting the dots between prophecy and fulfillment.
He spoke of the suffering servant of the Messiah who would redeem his people through his sacrifice.
With each word, their understanding deepened. The veil of confusion began to lift, replaced by a glimmer of recognition.
Could this stranger who spoke with such wisdom and authority be? The thought, though still unformed, took root in our hearts.
They hung on his every word, eager to hear more.
He spoke of God's plan of salvation, of the love that compelled him to send his Son to die for the sins of the world.
The scriptures, once familiar yet opaque, now came alive with newfound meaning. As evening approached, they reached the village of Emmaus.
The stranger acted as if he would journey on, but we urged him to stay with us.
Stay with us, we pleaded, for it is nearly evening, and the day is almost over.
He agreed, and as they shared a meal together, a profound sense of familiarity washed over them.
Then, as the stranger took bread, blessed it, broke it, and gave it to us, our eyes were opened.
In that instant, they recognized him. It was Jesus, their risen Savior. But just as quickly as they saw him, he vanished from their sight. The bread they held in their hands suddenly felt sacred, a tangible reminder of his presence. Astonishment and joy flooded their hearts. The grief and confusion they had carried for days evaporated, replaced by an overwhelming sense of wonder and gratitude.
Jesus was alive. He had conquered death.
Their hearts burning within them, they rose up that very hour and returned to Jerusalem. They couldn't keep this news to themselves. They had to tell the others, to share the good news that had transformed their own hearts.
The road back to Jerusalem, once marked by sorrow, was now a path of triumph. Our steps, once heavy with despair, now light with joy.
They had walked with the risen Christ, and their lives would never be the same.